Well, good morning and welcome back into Market Day Report. I am Scott Shelby, otherwise known as the Cow Guy, and another shout out to all the folks that had something to do with this day 80 years ago. We are forever grateful. Appreciate it. And let's take a look at what the overnight markets did. You fought so we could have these markets. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on. How about corn? What did that do overnight? I think we heard Tammy tell us it was up a little bit, 5 cents a nickel better, 44 and a quarter. That's July. And that's about what, a penny and a quarter, penny and a half off the high of the day. We had a decent 7-cent range. We're 5 cents better in the D's 2 to 464. That was last there. So what we want to see here, folks, is if we can hang on to these gains after we open up this market, right? Because this has happened a few times. Soybeans, let's see what we've got over there. We were up about 7.75 cents in that front month at 11.85. And that's going to be 9 cents off the low of the day and 3 cents off the high. And that'll give you an idea that we had 12-cent range. November beans, that's 11.57 and a quarter was the overnight last trade, 6.75 cents better. And we're about only 2.25 cents off the high of the day, 7.25 cents off the low. That's soybeans, all right? Moving to the wheat. Chicago wheat. Well, what did that do for us? We had about a 4 to 4.5 cent range, 4 to 4.5 cent rally, sorry. 4.25 cents better in the July. We closed at 6.51 overnight, 2 cents off the high of the day. And about, I'm going to say 10.25 cents off the low. Dees, 4 cents better on the day there. 6.99 was last, and 7.01 was the high, just 2 cents off of it. All right, that's Chicago wheat. Moving over to see what we did overnight in the hard red, probably something similar. 4.25 cents better in that July contract to 6.80.5. And again, that was about 1.75 cents off the low, off the high of the day, so that's not too bad. Let's move on to the spring wheat and see what we had there. We had a 2.25 cent better board. 7.14 is last, and we're about a penny and a half off the high of the day there in July. Dees was up 2.25 cents to 7.40, and we're a penny and a half off the high as well. Cotton, just down about 26 points, quiet trade. 74.18 was last, and the July Dees was down 24 points to 73.27. All right, now is the time we bring him in. Brian Hoops, he's the president of Midwest Market Solutions in Springfield, Missouri. Brian, thanks for being on. All right. I don't know. I mean, the floor is yours. What do you think? What's going on?
Well, good morning, Scott. A couple things from an export standpoint to note. We had a private export sale announcement of corn this morning. It was 152,000 metric tons sold to an unknown destination. And that's our second sale of corn this week. It's been a long time since we've had any private soybean sales. We had exports out this morning. New crop corn, 46.5 million bushels, which was a very good number. And I thought interesting that China had switched from an unknown destination to China, and they ended up buying a little bit of corn, a couple cargoes at least. And they've also bought their first cargo of U.S. wheat in this morning's export sale. So we had negative old crop numbers, but it's the last marking week of the year for wheat. So we're basically just rolling from old crop into the new crop. New crop sales were 22.7, and China showed up again as a buyer of U.S. wheat, first time this marking season. And guess what? They haven't bought this year. They haven't bought any U.S. soybeans. And so it's a little concerning there that we haven't had any soybean sales. Those were only 7 million bushels this week on the new crop category and 2.7 for old. So nothing stand out there. But we did see higher prices overnight, sustained them after the export numbers came out. In fact, we have an outside day higher going in the corn market, meaning we made new lows overnight and then rallied and took out yesterday's highs. So hopefully we can build on that momentum. We've been down 7 consecutive sessions in corn and soybeans, 6 in the wheat market. So we're definitely due for a bounce, but I'm afraid that's what I think is all it's going to be, is a technical bounce. Maybe go back and hit some retracements, the 50 or the 62%. I don't think we're going to go back to new highs based off of the weather forecast and the lack that the funds are building in shorts in here and not building in a long position.
Well, I mean, we have about 8 minutes before we open up. I think what's going to be key for me, I don't know how many times I've done the radio show just about an hour ago that we've seen markets just like this. I come in and sit down here, and within the first hour, we're lower on the day. I mean, they shoot those positive numbers, those green screens out of the sky. So I want to see us hang on to the gains, and maybe we can with that technical turnaround in corn. Maybe we can do that.
But it's going to be tough because usually after you open, that's when the funds come into the marketplace, either aggressive buyers or sellers. And as you mentioned, we've seen where we've been higher overnight, those gains are taken away, and it's usually that fund selling that's capping that rally. And if that happens again this morning, there's going to be a lot of gloomy faces, I think, by the end of the trading session.
All right, we'll see if we can divert that. Well, anyway, stay right there, though. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more. Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions. We'll be right back. benefits. All right, welcome back. Let's remind ourselves, review ourselves, both of those, about what we saw happen yesterday in the live cattle. Live cattle traded just a little bit easier. We were about 40 cents lower on the close in June. 181.77 was last there. And again, as you can see, we were 10 cents off the low of the day, so we traded kind of heavy towards the back half of the day. Deese was down 50 cents to 184.50, or 184.05, sorry, which is just about, what, 60 cents off the low there. So that's live cattle. Let's take a look at feeders. Feeders were also a little lower, but a little bit more than what we saw in live cattle. We had a $1.20 loss in the August to 254.82, 60 cents off the lows there on the close. And November was down a $1.37 to 257.20. So that's about 70 cents off the lows there. Moving to the lean hogs, what do we have? Now this one really struggled all day yesterday. Let's go to the July. That's down a $1.72 to 92.20, and a $1.25 lower on the oct to 79.42. Let's bring back in Mr. Brian Hoops. Brian, thanks for sticking around. Anything in those prices, or at least what do the screens say to us this morning? What do you think?
Yeah, it looks like another mixed type of open, Scott, in the cattle market. Hogs probably going to be a little bit softer once again. They were down sharply yesterday, really, and likely you have a little follow through selling. The export numbers, no significant numbers here as far as beef and pork sales. About 14.5 million tons of beef and about 30 million tons of pork, right in line with what we've been doing. So no surprises there. Usually about this time we hear from clients or feedlots that we work with that some of these packers are sniffing around and they want cash cattle, or where we're bidding, or what they're going to do for the cash markets, and it doesn't sound real good for the cash markets this week. There's really very little interest from the packers. They seemingly have bought as much as they probably need to buy for this week. So if you're looking for help in the cash markets, I don't think you're going to get a lot of help this week. It's we're faced with probably a two-sided cash trade affair, maybe some lower prices in some areas, maybe a little bit higher in the north where numbers are a little tighter, but it looks like kind of a non-affair again today with some lackluster type trade in a very low volume session.
And this stupid bird flu thing just won't go away either.
Yeah, it seems like all the news in the cattle market lately has been bad news, and so you have to overcome that bad news with the bird flu, as you mentioned. Cutout values trending lower, so it's been a struggle right now, and of course you have the economy, which is showing signs of even slowing down even further.
All right, brother, you covered it all, I think, for us. Thank you very much for opening us up here this morning. Brian Hoops, he's with Midwest Market, president of Midwest Market Solutions in Springfield, Missouri.